Sensei Peta Goodman. That's right, it's Peter. Don't worry, female, you'll get used to it like I had to. I've been doing Aikido now since, I think it's 1974. Why did I start? Well, I was young, I was married, and my husband said, "You'll enjoy this." So we ambled along to see a class in our local Aikido centre, central Birmingham, in the 70s. And I saw all these amazing circular black fans flying through the air with people inside them. And there was a bang at the end. And I thought, I can do that. So my original sensei was the person I'd seen on that class. It was, as then was, Sensei Ralph Reynolds. He was third dan then, and he had an amazing class. I was, the week we joined, which was a couple of days after I saw the ballet with a bang, I joined the class along with 60 other people. I started in 1974, and I was so lucky to join a club where women were actually valued for their physical attributes as much as men. And the thing we brought to the party wasn't pure strength, it wasn't holding on tight, though we could do both, but what we did have was a certain quality of fluidity, movement. And what Shihan Reynolds, as I now refer to him as, what he did, he actually taught the women in a separate class on Friday nights, just an hour, and we would learn how to do his vision of where Aikido was going. Now we're talking probably mid-1980s here. We were in a room which was minuscule, and we would learn all the things to do with hand movements and looking. And we also learnt, he taught us a kata, which is known as first movement, which the Aikido Fellowship still practices because it involves an awful lot of just hip movement and extensions. Nobody else does it. But it's one of those things which encapsulates training for Aikido. And the laugh of the Friday nights was, after our first half an hour or so working on each other, on locks, and women have lovely flexible wrists, then the young men would be sent in as our ukis, and we would do exactly the same on their very muscular, rather stiff wrists. They didn't enjoy that. But hey-ho, we move on. I kept with Ralph Reynolds, Shihan Reynolds, until he died. Then his next in line was Hanshi Jane Phelps, and I kept with her until she retired. And then I am now in the same organisation, the Aikido Fellowship, as Sensei Shihan, Dominic Foster. We, incidentally, in our organisation, we don't call ourselves Shihan because Shihan Reynolds, that's his honorific, and he was our man. So we call ourselves senseis. So although I belong to an organisation which is based down in Aldershot, and I travel there for courses, I actually now practice with students who were Q grades on the mat when I was down grade, in Birmingham, with Shihan Reynolds, and I now practice in Polesworth, near Tamworth. As for where Aikido goes from here, well, it's never been a single line. Never. Now, because we've got the internet, we can see the world's Aikido. We can nibble and twitch and take a bit from here, a bit from there, see how it goes. But actually, the best way, in my opinion, is to keep looking, give it a try, see how you think, steal, borrow, acquire, listen, try, but just keep turning up on the mat. And if we just put it out there, eventually people will see bits that interest them. We're never going to be 60 newbies in a night because we've got so many more martial arts that they can choose. But I think we will get people when they get to their 40s and later. And we are probably the only martial art, this is my opinion, I think we may be the only martial art where we can take people of beyond young, who are thinking, what do we do now? And I think with the right sort of teaching, with a bit of empathy and a bit of forethought, we will get these adults for their last 40 years, rather than youngsters for their first 20.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be the way we go, because we're all going to live longer, and we never stop learning.
Yep.
My name's Eddie McCalla, 7th Dan Shihan Aikido. I'm the chairman of the technical committee of the UKA. I first started Aikido in 1982. After seeing it back in 1974 at school, I saw it, Donovan Waite Shihan. Then found it in 1982. I went looking for it, found it, started training. My goals were at the time was to get my shodan. After my shodan, I decided to start my own dojo, which in Birmingham Newtown at the time. Started in 1988, so we've been going well over 30 odd years, 35, 36 years. Which we're still in Birmingham, Perry Bar. Over the years I've progressed onto different levels, and coach level 1, level 2, level 3. I've progressed personally with my grades. Now, beginning of January this year, 2025, I was awarded rank 7th Dan. 2-3 weeks ago, in November, received my 7th Dan certificate from Dojo. This is my third time.
So when you normally go to Japan, do you normally train at
Yes, the first couple of times it was all about training.
Mm-hmm.
But this third visit was about a bit of training and a bit more sightseeing and socialising.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, most definitely. The students those days, they were more, what can I say, more durable, more, they wanted to train to be able to use the art more so. So, yeah, over the years, I've adapted to accommodate whatever comes in the dojo, you know. At the moment, pretty strong, the dojo, we've about 23 members. I'm down from the age of 18 to, I've now acquired 10 Dan grades, danshas, from 5th Dan down to shodan.
Mm-hmm.
My whole aim is to improve the standard of the weapons in the UK United Kingdom Aikido, which I've initiated a syllabus. Just rewritten the organisation syllabus, which is now in circulation. Because when I started, it wasn't non-negotiable. You did Sensei said, get your weapons, and you just bulk and jaw, whatever, and you just did what he was showing you. So I adapted the same principle, whereas I do every session, I'll do at least 30 minutes weapons, whether it's solo exercises or partner practice or whatever, and then I'll move on to body art. So then hopefully they see the relationship between the two. Yeah, since COVID, personally, I've improved in numbers. Because I spent a lot of time, I did some Zoom classes.
Right.
I was doing weekly Zoom classes throughout lockdown. And then when we were able to go out, I was in the park.
Yeah.
So I then kept the contact with my students, bringing them in the park.
Yeah.
And training, doing stick-to weapons, sticking to the guidelines, etc., etc. And that kept the club together. So when we went back, it was as if, you know, we hadn't
Not been away, yeah.
Yes. I think the weapons, but a lot of people have acquired some people from different organisations, and it's the weapons they seem to be interested in more because they haven't done it. And so that was something I recognised and you know, instill it into them more and more each week. So I've gained about 5 students that joined through that for that purpose, and also the fact that I'm a pretty high ranked instructor, so it's probably draw people. Yeah. So my own looking forward, next year 2026, I'm hoping to push my new dancers for the next level grade, each one. Some are showdowns going for knee down going for sand down going for fourth down. Wow. So basically that's what my goals will be the next year. So I've got a plan how I'm going to get them there. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jon Stokoe. I'm from Newcastle, Tyne and Wear. My Aikido journey started in 1968. I was 21 years old at the time, and at that period of time there was only shipbuilding and mining in the area. There wasn't much in the way of leisure, so there wasn't many gyms or places where you could work out. But I was at the time doing judo with a couple of brothers called Harry and Alan Marr. And then this particular evening that we were practicing, a chap walked into the dojo called Chiba Sensei, and he had been sent over by O Sensei to teach and promote Aikido in Britain. And he was doing all the judo clubs, and this particular night he happened to visit our judo club, and he used Miyazuki because I was light and flexible at the time, and that was my first introduction to Aikido. That was 57 years ago, so that makes me 78 now. Well, the judo training at the time was very martial and very brutal. So I thought I was going to transition over to a softer martial art because I really liked what I saw. But it was just as hard and just as brutal as the judo. One thing that I did realise that we didn't have a lot of things that we could use as aids to help us with our Aikido. We might have a small amount of 8mm film or perhaps a couple of paperback books. But what I did find was if someone around knew a little bit more Aikido than you, then you latched onto them and you drained what you could from them. And that's the way it was. So a lot of the Aikido was more or less self-taught at the time. My biggest turning point in Aikido was when I joined up with Sensei Gwyn Jones from the Shingitai Aikido Society in Wales, and I've been with him as a senior instructor now for 25 years. I saw a demonstration of Aikido that he did on a course, and it just blew me away, and I thought I must have some of that. So that's who I followed. But Bill Smith's one. But Jon Sensei was the biggest influence that I had in Aikido. But I find that I'm getting on now. So the Aikido's changed, I've plateaued, I've gone up, I've gone down.
Yeah.
But I'm more into the technical aspects of Aikido now rather than the physical.
Yeah.
In the 90s, about the late 90s,
Yeah. So the class sizes in around that time.
Class sizes were massive at that time.
Yeah, and was it a good mix or?
A massive mix. I mean, a small class would be 15. If you had 15 now, you're lucky if you've got 5. And if you've got 10 people on the mat, I would class that as a course now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's just that there's just nobody seems to be coming into it. I think there's just too much for people to do nowadays. Too many distractions as well. Well, you just type in Aikido on a computer and it explodes, doesn't it? I mean, I've got loads of stuff on YouTube. I've been doing videos for years and years and years now. I've got a massive back catalogue, but I can't remember the last time somebody actually joined the class. It's so disappointing. I think it started to become a problem with membership when you had the likes of mixed martial arts coming into it, and people wanted to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and cobble it all together and mix it up. Whereas I've always been pure Aikido all my martial arts life. And I think to do that, you've really got to be dedicated to it. You've really got to be dedicated and hungry, which I was. So, what I think the best thing that you can do with Aikido is just to pass it on.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you've learned, pass it on, and pass it on.
Hi, my name's Phil Howman. I'm a Sensei 4th Dan. I'm a custodian of the 3 Musubi shapes. And when did I start? Okay, so I started in Norfolk in the early 80s with Aikido with a lady called Janet Jones. Exceptional female instructor, awesome dojo, great people. It couldn't have been a better introduction. And then I moved to Leicester to do my college time, and at Leicester I trained with a group, and I can't remember their names if I'm honest, so I really do apologise, but yet again they were exceptional, and they brought me inside their dojo and really enjoyed it. And then I moved up to the northwest, where again I trained in the classic way with the BAF, and trained with Steve Parr and Tony Ezra and Kinetica Sensei, and obviously in that journey I met Shiba through courses and different dynamics. And I guess about 92, 93, my world changed. I did a friend a favour, and I went to cover a meeting for a friend, and I met a young guy then called Ted Devlin. And Sensei Ted Devlin was the most exceptional martial artist I've ever met. He took me into his dojo, and within 3 months, I knew that I was in the dojo that fitted me. It may not fit other people, but it fitted me. And luckily I was going out to train with Ken Kotia in Singapore. Oh no, Singapore, Hong Kong. And Waka Sensei were coming over, and I had that experience as my last BAF link. And then I moved to train with Sensei Devlin, and the world just opened up. We went to Malaysia to train with Francis Ramasamy, an exceptional martial artist, 6th Dan Yoshinkan, all Japan Kendo master, and the founder of Mushindo. And then we trained with the art of Wado Shimpo. Wado Shimpo is the art originally given to Hawakawa Suhu by Ueshiba. And it was passed through under a kanji that stands for stopping fighting before it begins. Now let's think about that for a minute. Stopping fighting before it begins. That means inside yourself, before other people, right? So can you be calm? Can you find your center? Can you find a way of taking anxiety and stress out of your mind on a battlefield or in a difficult environment? And they use shapes, colours and sounds to do that. If you work a 3D shape, you work a colour and a sound within that shape. It creates this exceptional energy that quietens your mind and allows you to work. Now, in conflict, that's awesome because it allows you to be centred, focused and very, very martial. On the other side, it allows you to be very, very therapeutic because you can blend those colours and energies, right? You know, if you're with somebody and you blend that energy, once it happens once, you recognise it. It's truly beautiful. And that's that art. So I've studied that since 2000. So I did 10 years more Aikido, and then since 2000, for the last 25 years, nearly 26 years, we've studied these shapes that move with colour and sound. And what's intriguing is inside Aikido, every technique, every movement is that shape. So if you do Aikido for 20, 30 years, you're already creating that inside yourself. But of course, people didn't have 20 or 30 years in Japan. They had 20 or 30 weeks, and they might have been needing to use it. So they used something far more simple to explain to people what to do. It's this cipher, this shape, this sounds, the colours that allows anybody to learn to use Aikido techniques quicker, more easily, more fluidly, spontaneously. So in my dojo, we don't teach the techniques, we teach the movement and allow the techniques to appear, and once you see them, you recognise them, you apply them. So does the technique lead the shape, or does the shape lead the technique? And that's my style of Aikido. My biggest worry with Aikido is that, you know, at this session here, everybody is really over 45 or 50, right? They're training hard, they're really well intentioned, they've got the best focus in the world, right? But how do we create something that isn't BJJ or martial, right? Or sport, but also isn't just therapeutic, flowing, it has the two together. And I see applying these shapes within all techniques as one of the gateways that we could reinvigorate, re-energize Aikido across, right, the UK, Europe, wherever, because it's inspiring. Two of my young people came today, you know, young people, mid-20s, right? And I think if you take, in fact, I can see it in 2 or 3 dojos that I know, where they teach a shape, right, and people work it. If you work a shape, like so, and say, look, this is the shape, like so, right? So then if you move your hand and follow the shape, actually it's really quite easy to do. The children find that a lot easier than giving it a name, giving it a structure, right? Because it's the way you learn. If I say post box to you, do you think P-O-S-T, right? Or do you think red thing with a hole in it, or yellow thing with a hole in it? And you picture it at home. So our minds think in pictures, our minds think in colour, and you're all probably talking to yourselves about what I'm saying now. So you'll talk to yourself. So sound internally is key. So layer those 3 together, and the impact within yourself is this art of peace. In my opinion, and it's purely my opinion, Ueshiba was very much about creating an art that calmed down post-war stress, anxiety, the PTSD that was there, and create this lovely inner art of peace that then he splits, for whatever reason, you know, with the classic Aikido line and then into Harakawa Suhu's Waido Shinpo line, representing the kanji moving forward. So this is us, right? It's been a pleasure talking to you, and don't know, any questions, please email us.
There you go. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Tony Brown. I'm ranked 6th Dan Rokudan Aikido and have the title of Shihan through the Dai Nippon Budokai Kyoto, Japan. I'm the Dojo Cho of Black Star Aikido, which we launched in 1991, and at that point I was under the Saijitsu Aikido route. My original training began in 1984 with Teddy Bailey Sensei at my local youth club, and later on I train in the Black Star Aikido style with Aikido, Aikiken and Taijutsu. Through COVID, we had challenging times, as every dojo did, but as soon as we could, we got outside, we formed groups, we got outside in the fresh air, we did Aikido, Aikiken, basic body movements, we did some striking with the Joes, with pads held at a long distance apart so we were conforming to all the rules. As soon as we could, we got back indoors, social distancing applied, we had to wear face masks, washing the hands plenty of time, so we did all that, so that was good. Currently, Black Star Aikido wants to promote an Aikido that is believed by our students. They represent us, they represent a system, and they conform their syllabus work and their training to that syllabus, which creates a very solid and strong belief in what they do. Aikido and Aikiken, we do follow the Saito Sensei patterns of the 13 kata, 31 Jo kata, 7 Bokken Saburi. We follow that even though we interpret it in a way that suits our syllabus and our students. But we follow that pattern. Currently, I'm Dojo Cho of Black Star Aikido and aim to promote us through the UK seminars and also teaching a lot in Sweden, Scotland and basically all over. We have 2 dojos, Hombu dojos at Cheslin Hay in Staffordshire, and we also have a branch dojo run by Andrew Leighton Shidoin, 5th Dan Aikido in Brownells. We've got age range of classes from 4 years old all the way up to adults and seniors. One thing, if I can say to every Aikidoka out there, is study, train and commit to what you're doing. If you're going to be at the dojo, be there. Don't make excuses, turn up, do your training. Respect your dojo, respect your style, respect yourself for doing it.
Paul Preece.
Yep, so what brought you into martial arts?
It was a demonstration at school on an open day with the parents, and the local judo club out Aniquai in Walsall did a demonstration there. And I thought, well, yeah, I quite like that, I'll have a go. Plus the fact there were actually some teachers in the school, and there was 3 teachers that were already practicing judoka, and they'd started a club at the school, so I joined and it went from there really. I did judo for 5 years. I went on then to karate, Shotokan and Wadaru, and did that for 5 years, and then I went over to Aikido. The interesting thing is, Kenshiro Abe, who obviously is accredited with bringing Aiki into the UK, I knew of him 10 years before because I was affiliated originally to the British Judo Council,
Yep.
and he was actually the head of the BJC. So I knew of him 10 years before I actually started Aikido.
Yep.
First off, there's no contest, no competition, and I was disillusioned both with judo and karate because it went to the sport, and it was the martial aspect, and I wanted something that gave me that sort of discipline and that sort of breadth of vision really, that wasn't really anything that was written in stone, but you could interpret it and give it your own sort of interpretation on it. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed The big plus was, when I started Aikido, I could already break fall, so I hadn't got to go through the break falling thing. And break falls in Judo are generally harder than they are when you're taught in Aikido. Sensei Phil Prickett in Aldridge at BRD, which was a company affiliated to GKN when I worked at GKN. And also, obviously in Birmingham with Sensei Ralph Reynolds,
Yeah.
at the BAI, initially in John Bright Street, the original one. When I started teaching, about the late 77, 78, something like that, in Aikido. And then I started my own club in 79, which was in Wolverhampton. And we had that club for 45 years.
Were you still with Ralph Reynolds at that point?
Yes,
All the way through?
All
Stayed
the
with
way
the same association?
All
yeah.
the way through, yeah, because I used to take my students over to the BAI for gradings.
Right.
In the future, I think it needs to look at how it develops for the older generation. I think it suffers so much from fragmented competition from things like MMA, Kung Fu, that type of thing. So I think it needs to look at the direction it's going with, but focus on the change in the sort of demographics of people and getting older.
Yeah.